This video right here might swing the African American vote to Donald Trump in this next election, 2024. You guys don't want to miss this.
Who I think in general don't really like Donald Trump very much. Did he win the room over instantly by humiliating and joking and embarrassing the uppity left-wing reporters who effectively just like screamed at him on stage? It was an amazing moment. Now, it got started off a little bit weird, and this will come in handy later, with President Trump having to sit and wait a half an hour. The event was a half an hour late. The speaker and the equipment at the National Association of Black Journalists is not working properly. Don't blame me for being late, says President Trump. Okay, well, the event kicked off, and Donald Trump quickly stole the reporter's water bottle here. It's amazing. Trump steals reporter's water bottle. Oh, man. And she was going to need it because of this flamethrower. Donald Trump cooking, baby.
Elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love
think
if you
it's
can
a very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. Let me just ask a
follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on.
It's so funny because a reporter would only act that way in front of Donald Trump. No other reporter would lead with a question in such a manner. And I'll tell you the exact reason why. He could handle it. He could fight back against all these people. That's what he's been doing all his entire life. Donald Trump has stuck up for the American voter. Forget African American, every American. He views every American the same. It doesn't matter if you're Indian, African American, Native American. It doesn't make a difference. Donald Trump and most Americans don't view life from the Democratic perspective, which is complaining all the time, asking for handouts, and the government just giving billions of dollars to foreign countries, rather than actually helping out people in America.
Vintage Donald Trump. This is because you'd be in jail energy Donald Trump. Oh, man, this reporter, this is the ABC News reporter who was asking the question. Who's asking the questions? The face you make when you think you trapped Trump and he's switching it back on you, and the black audience cheers. Yeah. Oh, man, it was a wild one. So President Trump then steals her water bottle and then begins to talk about Kamala Harris. Oh, man. So he talks about Kamala Harris, and this is the headline maker of the day, for sure.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that interview.
You told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion.
I'll say it right now, 1000% she is a DEI hire, because every single person in the Biden administration has been a DEI hire, whether it's transgender, whether it's African American, whether it's Indian. It just seems like they don't care about whoever is the most qualified. They just want to check a box, because that has been the epitaph and theme for the past 4 years under Joe Biden. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but let me ask you this one question. If Kamala Harris was a 55-year-old white man from Texas, do you think that she would have been the VP if she had the exact same policies? I know for a fact she wouldn't be chosen. You know for a fact she wouldn't be chosen. It's just the Democrats gaslighting us day after day. She's a DEI hire, plain and simple.
Really know how else to explain that what Trump is talking about here is that Kamala Harris, for the early part of her career, ran on being the first Indian senator in American history. Now, that's not my words. Kamala Harris's words and the media's words.
Become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
So don't come for me, all right? Come after the Sacramento Bee, right? Who was the local paper for Kamala Harris when she was Attorney General and living in San Francisco and working as a DA in San Francisco. Kamala Harris sworn in as first Indian American senator. This is their words, okay, not mine. She was sworn in by Joe Biden. Of all places, became the first Indian American senator. You can find the same headline in the Associated Press, in Business Insider, in dozens of publications. Okay, so you're the Association of Black Journalists. Are you going to be issuing a correction? What do you like? These are your headlines, all right, not mine. So you figure it out. These are what is making the headlines, of course, across the country. Trump mocks Harris's heritage. She happened to turn Black. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump being just hysterical on this interview and during this interview, talking about how Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to pass a cognitive exam.
Interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President,
I would love to
and
do
make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President,
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
Oh, man. This was a just rowdy mess. And it's very, very fun. So obviously, Donald Trump on the defensive, one of the best Trumps. Donald Trump again, talking through an answer, getting interrupted and saying, hold on, you're the people who kept me for 35 minutes.
Isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I
different
didn't notice
topics
you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
No, excuse you. You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Oh, dude, don't come for the king. Wait. People think that the National Association of Black Journalists did a good job. The mics were screwed up. The crowd was completely unprofessional. The questioners didn't coordinate and were talking over each other. And it was abruptly ended for no reason. Charlie Kirk saying Trump goes into hostile territory. Equivalent would be Kamala Harris going to the NRA. Trump did excellent, 10 out of 10. Trump.
That's the thing you have to admire about Donald Trump. He will go anywhere to talk with anybody. That's what politics should be about. There shouldn't be places that you refuse to go, because when you become president, you don't become president just for your supporters. You become president for the entire nation. And that's the thing that all of these politicians don't acknowledge, except for Donald Trump. Imagine that tweet right there. Kamala going to the NRA. That would never happen in a million years. I can't even imagine a single Democrat doing that because they don't have the stones. That's the thing about Donald Trump. They only attack him with personal issues. When it comes to policy, there's not much that they could attack. Donald Trump is the president of common sense, or at least that's what it seems like, because some of these politicians have lost their minds. But yeah, this was completely unprofessional. They said Kamala was going to be there, wasn't there, 35 minutes late. That's completely messed up what they did, but it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Do you think this moment right here has swung the African-American vote to Donald Trump, or do you still think there's more that Donald Trump has to do? Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.